Hey y'all, how y'all doing today? It is hot. It's so hot out here. It's like 90 degrees outside today. Look, I was born in the summer, but I'm not no summer baby. My birthday is actually this month, end of the month, June 24th. I will officially be 37 years old. How about it? Time flies. Anyways, so one of my favorite hobbies as a holistic health coach of Holistify Me, LLC, is to work on myself, is to cultivate myself, mind, body, and soul, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, to try to better myself. And I'm pretty self-aware. I like to think that I'm pretty self-aware. Like, I know when there's certain things that I need to work on, like patience. I got to work on my patience. I promise you, it is a forever striving. It's a forever thing. And the thing with patience is, you're not going to just have it just because. Like, if you pray about it and like, God, help me with my patience, guess what? He's going to try you. He's going to allow certain things to come your way just so you can be tried and pressed and pruned. And it's a lot of work, y'all. A lot of work. And it's going to be in those trying situations where you have to exercise patience in order to obtain that patience. It's going to only take practice, right? Just with anything else in this life. So that's one thing that I know that I need to focus on. Another thing too, personally, I think is I talk too much. I'm an oversharer. I used to be an oversharer when it comes to my personal business, only because I found liberation in my transparency. I found freedom in being transparent and vulnerable, and I still do find that. I'm one of those people like, look, this is my flaws. This is this. I've been here. I've done this. I've done that. And judge me, sue me, whatever, feel however you want to feel about me. But I've found beauty in being honest about who I am, because I have nothing to hide. And granted, I'm not living a lifestyle that requires me to lie about anything or to feel that I need to hide anything. Anything that I talk about, I literally, like when I talk about my past and things that I've been through and things that I've done, I literally feel like I'm talking about another person, and maybe that's what makes me feel so open with sharing that, because I really do feel like I'm talking about another person. Granted, that was the old me, the old life that I lived, the old things that I went for, the things that I did or allowed to happen within my life. I don't mind sharing it because there's a testimony and everything, and I know somebody can grow from it, right? However, I still overshare in other ways. Hey, maybe let's say I'm a venter, right? I like to vent. I know some people who don't vent at all, and they just let things bottle up within them. But when you let stuff bottle up, what happens? Eventually it explodes. Eventually you boil over when you just keep stuffing stuff down, or you keep trying to sweep stuff under the carpet, under the rug. Guess what? At some point, it's going to show itself one way or another. It doesn't just disappear, right? And a part of dealing with it for me is literally dealing with it. It's talking about it. Let's say, for example, I'm venting about something that I don't understand about a particular person or a certain thing. And it's one thing when you feel a certain way about somebody or something they did, or a certain way that they conduct themselves that you just don't understand. You have nothing but to think to yourself. And if you chime somebody else in, okay, if they don't know them, they don't know them. So they really can't give you an internal dialogue as far as being within the circle. But if you know this same person, I vent to you about them, it's only because I'm looking for, like, okay, what are your thoughts on this? This is what I'm getting from this. I'm asking you because this is how I perceive a certain situation. This is how I feel about it. Am I perceiving it wrong? Am I thinking it wrong? However, I do understand that in that it might come off in a different way. And hey, some people might call that bashing. Bashing is where you're like just dogging somebody out. Or you're just trying to make somebody look bad. But if you're genuinely concerned or whatever with how maybe somebody conducts themselves, the things that they've done, the things that you've witnessed or whatever, and you're just like, yo, I just don't understand this. Like, somebody help me out. Like, help me see the good in this. Help me to understand. Because sometimes when you understand, even if you disagree, you can at least, when you have understanding, you can hold them in a disposition within yourself. But when you have a hard time understanding, you struggle with that. And then you might be viewing them in a negative light because you don't understand. So sometimes I do overshare, maybe in that way, I just try to get, I like to try and get a hold of what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling, what, just my thoughts about something. And if what I'm thinking is logical. Is it right for me to feel that way, right? I mean, granted, everybody has their own perspective, but if somebody can help me better break it down, right? I love psychology. We can talk about psychology all day long. Why somebody did this and somebody did that. Like, I'm always looking at different stuff like that, especially in the relationship realm. I like to look at stuff like that because it's just so intriguing to me and interesting to me, like how people move, how the way that they think, feel, and the things that they do for attention or validation or the manipulative ways. And because I've endured a lot of manipulation in the past, like I'm very sensitive to it. I see it, I feel it, and I know it when I see it, and I don't mind speaking on it, But there's sometimes within yourself some things that you cannot see, so you have to tag somebody else in. You have to get an outside perspective. However, make sure that as you are pursuing this journey of growth and you are trying to, resolve some things about yourself, or just trying to figure out something where you can work within yourself, right? Because that's something I'm always trying to do. Granted, and something I think we all should do. We all have the mind, body, and soul, the mental, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual. We have all these different components because, they matter. They exist, so they matter, right? So we should try to better ourselves as people. Like that, you are your forever project. You never stop growing. You never stop learning. Don't ever think that you know all the answers. You got it all together, because you don't. Just when you think you do, guess what? Something else is going to slide in or get thrown in your face. Something else is going to happen. Something's going to, you're going to be hit with a curveball. You'll be like, oh, I wasn't ready for that. Here, I thought I was, good to go in all these different aspects, but I still got this to work on. Like a relationship, right? I'm not in a relationship. I don't have a romantic relationship. And I could think that I'm good to go for one, but however, in the moment that something comes up, right, or let's say I get in a romantic relationship, things are going to come up that maybe I didn't necessarily know was there, and I won't really know until it happens, like certain trust issues, or feeling a certain way about something, or maybe certain insecurities, because whether we all admit it or not, we all have some type of insecurity, some things that we're not really insecure about. And if you're single, you may not even notice those insecurities, or you may think that you have healed from those things, but maybe you haven't, because you have yet to be presented with a situation to where those insecurities get a chance to arrive, right? You can say you healed from this, but you don't, a particular thing, but you don't really know if you've healed from it until you come face to face with something that would show whether or not you've healed, right? Like if you haven't healed, guess what? It's going to resurface. It's going to come up, and you're like, ooh, wait a minute. Ooh, I don't like that right there. I don't like how that felt. I thought I was good to go in this aspect, and I'm really not, right? So there's just certain things that you won't know until a certain situation arises, occurs, a certain time in your life, right, happens. But there's also certain things, again, that you need an outside perspective. So I challenge you to seek an outside perspective. Ask people, right? Because we can think we're all good. Everybody likes to think they're the cream of the crop, right? That they're just the best thing since sliced bread, right? Like you're just such a blessing. You're this, you're that, blah, blah, blah. But we need to learn to have a healthy perspective. Like me, just like I said, everybody, we all think we're awesome, right? I do think I'm awesome. I do. I like me. Again, I like me, flaws and all. But I don't try to hang on to those flaws if it's something I can change. Do I like me? Yes. But do I also acknowledge that I have some things I need to work on? Yes. Can you like yourself and acknowledge that you have areas in your life that you need to grow and you need to develop, you need to mature and evolve in? Yes, you can. To act like, or to only like yourself if only you feel like you don't have anything to work on, like that's not realistic. It's insecure, and it's a lot of insecurity, and you're not having a healthy perspective of self, because again, we all have something that we need to work on and should work on. So be able to like yourself, right? Granted, assuming that you are living an honest life and you are putting good out and you mean well, not that you'll be perfect in these things, not that you'll always get everything right, when crossing your T's and dotting your I's, but having a healthy perspective of self. Say, yes, I like me, but I like me, flaws and all. And I do understand that I don't always get it right, that I am going to stumble. I am going to make mistakes in this life, because that's just it. This is what this thing is. It's life. Life is like a roller coaster, right? You got all these ups and downs, and that's just reality, right? But be able to love yourself in it, knowing that you are striving to better yourself and to grow and evolve, right? But be able to challenge yourself in these different ways. So when you seek an outside perspective, first and foremost, make sure it's from somebody that you can trust. Somebody that is going to give you an honest opinion, right? One of the people that I know who will be honest with me is my sister. She's like my best friend. And I was like, girl, what's something you think I could work on? I called her the other day and asked her that. And she didn't really have a lot to say. Like, honestly, she was like, I don't know. So I just started giving her things that I thought. I said, well, sometimes I feel like, one, I talk too much. So maybe I need to take a back seat with my voice. Two, I feel like sometimes I let things bother me a little too much, or sometimes I allow things to get more energy from me than what it should. Now, my sister's the type of person, though, she don't really try to put too much time and energy into things that bother her, right? And that is a good thing. It can also be a bad thing. I like to understand. I like to dissect that thing, right? I want to know. I want to like understand, okay, why this, why that? Okay, but why did this person do this? I'm trying to understand where they came from with this perspective. I'm trying to understand, like, okay, this is what they said. Okay, what did I get from that? Do I feel like that's true, or do I feel like this? Or do I feel like that? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like to reason. I like to find logical grounding and understanding. That's just me. I like to understand things, and maybe I need to learn that not everything is meant to be understood. I think we all kind of agree to that, right? Not everything is meant to be understood. And sometimes, no matter how hard you try, you'll never understand a person, why they did something, why they think something, why they carry themselves a certain way, why they talk about this person you thought was a friend and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Like all these different situations, right? Sometimes we won't always understand. And sometimes it's not meant for us to understand, right? So no need to rack your brain on why this, why that, because that why this, why that might be there forever. But I at least like to understand a particular situation or character, so at least I know how to move in this particular situation should another situation occur in this particular character. You know, if I understand this character and what comes along with this particular character, now I know how to move and conduct myself with this particular character. Now I know I can only trust them to this extent, but not this much. You know what I mean? I feel like in life, you have different relationships and friendships for a reason. And not all your friends are your friend. You know what I'm saying? Not all your friends are solid friends that you know is going to back you, going to protect you, going to really look out for you, and is going to speak you up, and is going to, you know, say something when somebody dares speaks against you. You know what I mean? They're going to stand up for you in your absence, right? Then you have those solid friends like that, you know, will always be down for you. That will always stand in the gap for you. That will defend you when you are not around to defend yourself. You know what I mean? And then you'll have those friends that we could talk about stuff. We can shoot the breeze. We could talk about this. We could talk about that. But I won't really let them in my inner circle as far as like my heart matters, the things of my heart, the worries and concerns of my heart, like what I'm battling with spiritually, what I'm battling with emotionally, you know, whatever, right? There's certain things and certain people you place in certain categories, right? So that it's good to understand that, to know that, and to where to hold these particular friends and people, you know? So yeah, that was me, you know, trying to understand and put maybe giving too much energy to a situation or being bothered by a situation. And then, you know, it is one thing to be bothered by something and you have a genuine reason to be bothered in that situation, but then to let it fester and to let it continue, or to continue to bother you after the situation has already passed, you know? In some areas, I have struggled with that, you know, learning when to like, okay, just chalk it up to life, chalk it up to, okay, this is just how this is just how this situation is, this is just how that person is, and this is just what I can expect from this, and this is what happened, okay, it happened, nothing I can do about it, reason it, try to understand it, find logic in the situation, gain whatever I can gain from it, learn whatever I can learn from it, and then keep it pushing, right? So these are things that, you know, just examples of things that I'm trying to work on within myself. And, you know, and only asking people that I know are going to be honest, because again, make sure you're asking people who are going to be honest and real with you, because you might ask somebody something and guess what? They just looking for that moment to try to tear you apart. They're just looking for that moment to try to tell you about yourself, especially if you're confident in who you are and you have a voice and you stand for something. Let's say, you know, you feel good about you. Like, some people can handle that, because there's a lot of people that don't feel good about themselves and who they are. So if you were to ask them, this person, you could think that is your friend, but you ask, okay, what's something you think I'm working on? Then I'm like, oh yeah, like they're rubbing their hands together, like, yes, I'm about to. And then they might feed you a bunch of BS, or won't make you feel like, oh, being honest and you know, having healthy boundaries for yourself, well, that's not good, you should have did this, or you should have did that. Like, there's people like that are honestly just toxic, and you can't trust everybody's opinion about you. So be careful when it comes to asking and getting the outside perspective. No yes men allowed, y'all. Maybe this is video's gonna be called No Yes Men Allowed. Me personally, I don't really like the word pride, because it can carry a negative connotation to it. But I pride myself in being an honest, straight shooter. I'm very honest, very straightforward, very direct. So in being that way, some people don't like it. Some people aren't ready for something that you have to say. And that's okay. Not everybody can handle that. Me personally, I am a grower. I want to grow as much as possible. And I only want people around me that's going to help me in that aspect. I don't want yes men. I've had friends as yes men. And it frustrated me so much. Like, if I'm wrong in a situation, but you're not telling me I'm wrong about it, there's a problem there, or something. And I'm asking you an honest opinion. You're not giving it to me. I'm like, look, I'm asking you because I want an honest opinion, but you're only telling me what you think I want to hear. I can't trust those people. Those people are not trustworthy because you're not going to help me grow and evolve as a person. So if I'm asking you for an honest opinion, get that to me. But again, I'm learning and knowing who I can ask these certain questions to help me grow and evolve within myself, right? So make sure you do the same. Don't be a yes man. Don't just go along with everything people say just because they're your friend or you feel a certain way about them or whatever. Don't just go along with it just because you don't want to stir the waters or whatever. Be an honest person. Don't carry yes men around you because, again, you will never grow and evolve as a person with these people around. If we're not growing, what are we doing? Honestly, if we're not growing, what are we doing? Food for thought. Word of encouragement. Y'all have a good day.